Some models goes well very easy, and some brings you challenges that stop progress for days or even years. Some models bring you excitement and others disappointment. In this video I will share with you my impression about motorcycle model from Meng. You will also see kit review, some construction episodes, challenges and solutions, and final result. Hello my friends! Welcome to Meng Scale Modeling Studio. Today we will have insight into motorbike scale model from Meng in scale 1 to 9. It is BMW R NineT. Usually motorbike models are in scale 1 to 12. Other scales are less popular, like 1 to 35 in military and 1 to 6. It's big and expensive. 1 to 9 is something better than 1 to 12 and allow you to add more details. Let's drop a quick look on kit itself. Sorry if it was too fast, I got driving license just a few days ago. Where was that braking pedal? When we look on spruce, we can see not only plastic parts in different colors, but also rubber parts used not only for wheel tires, but also for suspension, footrest and seats. As you can see, texture of tires is well defined, but you will have to sand down seam line in the middle. The most exciting parts of the model kit are parts made from metal. These are fuel tank, seat back and engine parts. This looks amazing and you get impressions that you don't need to paint those. My only concern is that fuel tank is heavy and this will impact on center of gravity of completed model. Photo-ish parts are also included for vents and braking discs. That is good to have it included in the kit. Later in this video I will show how to add braking traces to discs, so stay tuned. Also some stickers for rear view mirrors, BMW stickers, painting masks and of course high quality decals are included. Stickers for rear mirrors has protective film to protect reflective surface from scratches and fingerprints. As you can see, it is very reflective, in right shape, and there is no need to search for other solutions. I found Meng standard decals are tricky and I will explain some issues to be aware of later in this video. I was also impressed to have painting mask included. Masking tape is of good thickness and leave no traces when removed from surface. Transparent parts are also of high quality. Rear stoplight is already in transparent red color and need no painting. Chrome parts are reflective, but when I look on the exhaust parts on different side angles, then the surface looks uneven. Light reflector looks perfect and you can use it as is, but exhaust pipes ask for treatment, and I recommend to repaint those if you have skills on paint. Front fork doesn't look straight and also will need some attention. By the way, you can get metal front fork set for extra money. Just couldn't resist to remove these front fork parts from spruce and check the fit. To my surprise, it is acceptable. I decided to repaint some of chrome parts. And I can tell it was a challenge because behind chrome layer I found layer of copper, and it was some challenge to sand it out evenly. Here it was enough to sand until copper layer. But these exhaust pipes bring me more challenges as I had to sand out copper layer as well. I use different kind of tools for rounded surface, including zap system, sander, display with line of 240 sandpaper, and Flexify for finishing works. Sorry, I missed to film chrome painting, but long story short, I use chrome paint from Mr. Paint. But the secret is not about the paint, it is about how to prepare a surface. I will cover this in other video. And for now I can share with you final result of exhaust pipes, and as you can see, you can add hot metal effects to add feel of used horse. What I like about plastic sprues is the sprue connectors. Those are put on the back side of parts. When you remove part from the sprue accurately, of course using good hand nippers, then you need just a little sanding on the back side. And visible sides stay clean and untouched. This definitely is great benefit of this kit. Well done, Meng! Although I have no complaints on the quality of plastic, I have to mention a few things and share my concerns with you. First is exhaust pipes. If you build it as is, then you will see connectors in the exhaust pipe hole, and this doesn't look natural. It is up to you, but I decided to fix it by cutting out connectors and add imitation of tube. I made it from 3 pieces of 2 mm thick plastic glued together, so I got 6 mm long pipe. Also, I designed my own way how to get perfect fit of those exhaust discs by adding 3 pieces of half-round plastic. I used drill bit of appropriate size to align parts before gluing. Now both parts are ready and I do test fit. It is a good habit to do a test fit in advance. This eliminates additional work in the future. But you are never protected from failures like this one. It was a bad idea to apply paint removal solution on plastic without proper tests. How I fix this? First, I need to restore surface, and I took hard decision to split in 2 parts. Next step is to cut holes where I will put plastic which connect exhaust pipes. And then I glue these parts carefully and process seam lines. I was finishing model in the trip to Mosan show, and here I reveal another secret, magic powder. Hard to believe that you can get this out of that. According to my records, I started this kit in August 2022. After filming sprues, I started assembly. To simplify your modeling life, I recommend to get good nippers. I use God hand nippers. It is special that one of the blades is very thin and sharp, so you actually cut with one blade. But since the blade is very thin, you do not apply excessive stress on the plastic and get perfect cut. You can use other nippers, but I have to say I never regret since I've got those from Hobbling Japan. Also, if you have a scale modeler friend, then this could be a perfect gift. Sprue connectors are located on the side, which then is covered by other parts, so you don't need to have that place treated perfectly. And look how easy parts goes together. Click and done. Remember this feeling, because you will experience this many times if you plan to build this exciting model. Also, as you see, I use glue on engine parts. I found that this is not that necessary. In most cases, you can just click parts together, like a Lego kit. Either those click together, or you need to use bolts included in the kit. I use cotton swab to remove excessive glue. Processed places will be hidden by other parts, so I don't need to be perfectly accurate there. By the way, Meng has several versions of this kit. 3 of those are pre-painted versions of different design, so you don't need to use paint at all. Just need to remove all parts carefully from sprues using good nippers and assemble. I was so much excited about the Lego-like assembly process that I finished pre-assembly in 1 or 3 days. Here is intermediate result. Of course, I had to disassemble it to paint all parts, but I got a feeling of how it will look completed and also made sure that there were no fitting issues. Also, I got a wish to get more motorcycle models from Meng, including hot rider girls. I will leave links in the video description on the kits and nippers. Before we move to negative aspects of the kit, I will illustrate some tips and tricks and customizations I did. Braking discs. These are given as photo-etched parts. And if you have rotary or other drill tool, it is fairly easy to enhance it. Biggest challenge is to get braking disc connected to some round surface for even rotation. I cut a circle from 1.5 mm thick plastic and attach it to rotary pin. Then I connect braking disc to a circle with 3 or 5 pins. Now we are ready to have fun. Switch on the rotary tool, take a piece of coarse sanding file or paper and start to imitate braking traces. Remember to process from the bottom as well. And take care of your fingers, you have 5 only on each hand, I guess. Do not forget about the edge of the disc as well. After coarse sandpaper, I take 1000 grit Tamiya sponge. Again, remember to process it from other side as well. As a next step, you can take sponge of higher grit to like 2000 or 3000. It is up to you. I decided that looks good enough. Front fender. The edge is too thick, and if you want to have more realistic look, I suggest to sand it out. It is not rocket science, just handy file, Mr. Polisher and Tamiya sponges. I use half-round file to remove most of the plastic, but not all. After coarse processing, I smooth out edges with Mr. Polisher with sander of grit 2020. This is another great tool I use all the time. The head rotates left-right, so it is not running in one direction. It is powered by 2 AA batteries. You can change sanding heads to change sanding grit. And price is very affordable too. I just love it. Best polisher I know. Link will be in the description as well. Let's inspect how fender looks after second step. I think it's thin enough. Last step I did was sanding with Tamiya sponges. I started with grit 400 and a bit more with grit 1000. Inside will be almost invisible from outside. Anyway, I will cover it with primer, paint and clear coat, and it will be smoothed out. Frame. It has mold line by perimeter. It is not eye-catching, and if you don't need perfection, you can skip this step. I use a chance to try different tools to see what works the best, and I found every tool has some benefits. Curved blade will protect you from flat spots which you may have by sanding it with a straight blade. I found that it is not that easy to use it for narrow spaces, but for straight open lines it is very effective. Small blades give you access to narrow areas. Also, you can treat narrow places with thin files. I have some of brand's hobby elements. They have files of different shapes and sizes. I will put a link on original video on these files in the video description. Another tool I tried was high-quality scraper from Master Tools. It is very sharp and you have to be very careful. It cuts plastic as butter. And how can I live without flex file holder from Wave? It adapts to round surface and avoid flat sanded spots. Alternative tool is from brand Flexi File, and it is also very popular. Cool feature about this tool is that you can fairly easily disconnect sanding file sheet from the holder, and then you can continue sanding frame from inside. Also, I found that I can adapt sanding sheets from Flexi File onto file holder from Wave. It is a bit tricky but doable as well. Finally, I used Tamiya sanding sponge to smooth out coarse work. I start with grit 400 and then finish with grit 1000. I have tried other tools as well, and if you found this subject interesting, then please mention that in comments and I will create more detailed video on that. Final result inspection. There are so many sections of the frame and you can miss some very easy. Pay special attention to narrow sections inside. Custom design elements. When I build models, I try to add something custom into design. This time I was inspired by UK custom paintwork company 8Ball, who partnered with BMW UK and made some individual projects. Fuel tank was the item that attracted my attention, and I transferred that design onto model. I use masking tape in the center from the kit, and then add stripes on perimeter. Mr. Base white and layer of blue Pyros paint was sprayed on the fuel tank. Now it is time to remove paint mask. This is a bit dangerous process because some paint could stick to masking tape and chip off from the surface together with masking stripes, so you need to be very careful. I had to do some minor corrections, and at the end we have it all done. And the video on how to get mysterious painting design on fuel tank you will find on another video. Also, I paint R9T logo on air intake and the front light. I like to individualize my models. I say this. For example, I add brand logo onto battery and put my Facebook name with art on number plate. I use plotter a lot to cut my own stencils and paint with airbrush. For me it works better than custom decals, and I have more freedom to express myself. Even kit decals may bring you some surprises. I found that you have a bit limited time to position Meng decals. And one on the number plate was successfully missed. So I had to find what to do and came up with the idea to add more custom elements and add wizard name on the number plate. Another warning I want to do is on that oval decal for the frame. You have to apply it on round surface, but decal is very thick and hard to bend. Hard to believe, but I use super glue to attach this decal to the frame. Next time I would first try to bend it before I put it into the water. So keep this in mind. Instrument decal. I recommend to make a hole in the middle. I use punch and die tool for this purpose. This will help you to apply this decal on plastic part and avoid any decal solutions. Now I will share my biggest concern about this kit, and this is about kickstand. Problem is about heavy weight of the motorcycle and fact that foot peg handle where it is screwed to the frame is too thin. If you put motorcycle on the parking position, then due to the angle to surface and heavy fuel tank, model produce quite some force on the foot peg, and there is a risk to break it. Footrest attachment place is very weak, and I broke it when I was screwing bolt in for the first time. That was because the hole was a bit too tight. I drilled the hole a bit, but then connection became too loose. As you see, I found no other solution than adding super glue to fasten this place and also get the bolt hole more tight by adding more super glue. And it actually helped. But I still have concerns on foot peg safety and use that black cap to help it. Ideally, Meng or some aftermarket company may release a foot peg made from metal, but for now we have what we have. But let's make sky blue back again. One of the features is working suspension on the front fork and also on the back. Thanks to rubber parts, spring and Meng engineers, it works like on real motorcycle. To my surprise, Meng missed 3 things on engine. Some text on oil cap, oil level, it is on model but needs to be painted. And the wiring on looks like a spark plug, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I have painted oil level and then added wires later as well. So folks, what can I say in summary about this kit? First of all, this kit is of high quality. Crisp and detailed plastic parts are complemented with photo-etched pads, rubber parts and fuel tank with engine parts from metal. Also decals and painting masks are included. It is easy to build, parts are literally clicked together like Lego kit. However, sometimes speed is too tight and I had to sand out a bit. Working suspension, rubber parts, mirrors, braking discs give you a chance to build decent and realistic model of BMW R NineT. Price to quality ratio in my mind is very high, so it is a very good model for that price. What I wish in this kit have done different? First, if model is heavy, I suggest to make foot pegs from metal. Second, I would recommend to have exhaust pipe connection plates to be a separate part, made in chrome. Otherwise it is not easy to paint it accurately. Also remember about decals on small elements like oil filter cap. And easy fix is to add oil level painting into user manual. Also, I would love Meng to rethink chrome painting technology to get more smooth surface. Finally, I get another model on my shop. Also, there were some challenges, I really enjoy this kit and looking forward to build another motorcycle from Meng. Now enjoy final result. There will be a small bonus at the end. And here is a bonus! Hot rider girl in sweet boots, glossy sweat and cat eyes. Thanks for watching this video until the end. I hope you found something useful for yourself, learned more about Meng kits or tools and get inspiration to try it out. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Your feedback is very valuable and helps to make better videos for you. I will not ask you to hit the like button, but if you feel you want to see more videos from me, then be my guest and subscribe to the channel. All the best to you, until next time, bye bye!